The noise around them grew louder with every passing moment, and all held their breath, straining to understand what was happening. Then, from the shadows of the forest, wolf-like creatures emerged, sniffing the air as if waiting for something to arrive. When their pack gathered beneath Orion, the wolves suddenly lifted their heads, noticing him and the others suspended above. They began to howl in unison, as though summoning something specific. Moments later, a massive swarm of huge, monstrous, bee-like creatures covered the sky, blotting it out like a living storm. Their wings roared as they churned above, vast and menacing, while the wolves continued their haunting chorus. Orion signaled to Lillian to take on the wolves while he faced the airborne threat. Without hesitation, Lillian leapt down and unleashed her lethal scorpion minions, sending them swarming toward the wolves. But their thick hides resisted the scorpion's stings. Adjusting quickly, she released a flurry of smaller scorpions to distract them, then darted in herself, sinking her sharp fangs into their flesh. Her venom worked, but more wolves kept pouring from the forest. It felt like an endless battle. Meanwhile, Orion exhaled streams of red and yellow fire, burning away sections of the bee creatures above. But the intense heat roused Arfs, who stirred in Orion's grip. Disoriented, he realized Orion was holding him in JS, high in the sky. Furious, Arfs shouted for Orion to put him down immediately. Orion, locked in combat with the monstrous swarm and their poisonous stingers, had no time to argue. Arfs struggled violently, kicking and shoving in hopes of breaking free. "If you don't release me, I'll claw your eyes out," Arfs threatened, his sharp nails gleaming. "Arfs, stop!" JS begged, desperate not to distract Orion further. But Arfs could not be calmed. Reluctantly, Orion began descending, weaving carefully to avoid the stingers. The moment they touched the ground, Arfs shoved himself free. Exposed, he was immediately targeted by the creature's venomous needles, until Orion shielded him with his own body. Dozens of stingers pierced Orion's back as he turned to breathe fire at the swarm. In that instant, JS collapsed, unconscious. Arfs' earlier push had distracted Orion long enough for a sting to pierce JS's shoulder. Panic surged through Orion. He had to end this fight quickly, or lose JS. Glancing at Lillian, still locked with the wolves, he shouted, "Lillian, here, now." She abandoned her fight and sprinted to him, eyes widening as she saw JS unconscious on the ground. "Stay behind me, all of you," Orion commanded. He bit into his own finger, tracing a circle with his blood, and said, "O spirit of fire, lend me your power." Then, he exhaled flames onto the blood, igniting it in a surge of blazing energy. In an instant, the ground erupted into a storm of golden fire that consumed everything in its path. Half the wolves were obliterated, the rest fled in terror. The bee creatures disintegrated within seconds. Light returned, brighter than day, illuminating the battered group. Silence followed. Only Orion's labored breathing broke it. Drenched in sweat, struggling to remain standing, he finally turned to Lillian. His voice was hoarse, urgent, and filled with desperation as he looked at JS's still form. "Save him, please," Orion whispered, pleading for JS. And with that, Orion collapsed.